Hey everybody, thanks for joining us this week via satellite is what we're going to say. I have Dan St. Germain. Thanks for being on the podcast, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. So you, first of all, let's talk about you have an album coming out.
I do.
And what is it called?
It's called Bad at the Good Times. We actually just got the physical copies today. So,
nice.
I'm excited. We're releasing it on June 10th at the official release day with Special Thing Records and the first album. So, hopefully people like it.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second of all, everybody should check out the promo for it online, which is pretty damn funny.
Thank you.
You wanted to talk specifically about Feelin Kind of Patton.
Well, yeah, you were telling me that I think it was supposed to bring the album that one of my favorite albums, right?
Yeah, and one that influenced you heavily. It sounds like it was a bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely did. I don't know what influenced me heavily, but I would say that Patton in general has influenced me a lot. He's so smart.
Yeah.
And he's so funny. And I think he has a way of, what's it called? He has a way of, really seeing a bit through.
Sure. Sure.
Which is something that I struggle with. Sometimes you just want to get all right, well, I got the laugh, and the other part's a little bit too hard, and I got to finish, fill this time. And, he's a true artist.
Definitely.
So.
What's funny to me is listening to this album for the first time in a long time is almost how raw it is. It's not that he's not ready for it, but I'm like, shit, that is a young Patton Oswalt. In 10 years, how much he's changed is kind of mind-blowing.
But I gotta say, it's probably my, I like Werewolves and Lollipops a lot, but I think it's that and Finest Hour are my favorites. I think it's got to be my favorite, Feelin Kind of Patton.
And it's it's not just smart, but really rapid fire, and you can tell how polished that is. I'm curious how long it took him to put that together.
Yeah, and Athens, Georgia is such a cool comedy city.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember doing that. And I just loved it.
How long have you been doing comedy yourself?
I've been doing stand-up for it'll be 8 years in September.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, all over the country, and you finally polished an album that you're happy with. Is it one place, one show, or how did you put it together?
2 shows at Meltdown. We originally recorded it in Boston, at Boston Comedy Studio.
Okay.
But we kind of got, we got done with that, and I just didn't think it was right. So I waited another year, and I recorded, again, I added some bits.
Mm-hmm.
And I waited until I did my half hour on Comedy Central, and then we recorded it. I guess, I recorded a half hour in, February, and that premiered in May. So then I recorded the album. There's different stuff in the half hour. There's some of the same stuff.
Sure. It's a lot nicer, though, I think, at least from my perspective, since I do like to collect comedy. It's kind of great that you're not buying the same thing twice, because if I want to buy your special and then I want to buy your CD, I know I'm getting something.
Well, I'll say that there definitely is all the special bits in there, but there's another half of stuff too.
No, see, and that's what's perfect. I mean, you get a little something extra, and you get a different audience.
Yeah. I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. When's the first time you heard Patton Oswalt?
I think I saw a half hour when I was younger in maybe high school or I'm not sure. I don't want to date myself. But no, I saw the Comedians at Comedy. I remember that.
Okay, sure.
Comedians Comedy, and then I kind of got in. I think when you watch Comedians at Comedy, and you're somebody who doesn't know comedy as much, you gravitate toward Galifianakis a little bit. And then as I got more into stand-up, I really liked his stuff. I really was impressed by it.
Sorry, give me 1 second. So sorry. what were your earliest influences? I mean, did you grow up in a house where people were listening to or watching comedy, or did you have to seek it out on
Well,
your own?
when I was a kid, I would watch like Naked Gun with my dad.
Awesome.
I would watch like I would watch Mystery Science Theater a lot with my dad. Those are the ones. And I'm sure, The Simpsons, I don't think there's anyone who hasn't been influenced by The Simpsons.
Sure, no, absolutely.
It's just one of those that, it's more universal than I think even Seinfeld,
Yeah.
So, I just thought that was so great.
Did they ever pass anything on to you? Were there comedy albums passed down to you, or what's the first comedy album you ever listened to?
The first comedy, it was probably like Weird Al Yankovic,
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, maybe Adam Sandler's. I did all the Adam Sandler ones. I was really into that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think then after that, I got into what did I get into after that? I mean, I was like, then you have like a tendency to go really hard, like Carlin and Lenny Bruce,
sure,
and that kind of stuff. Because you're like, oh yeah, freedom of speech,
Mm-hmm.
So really, I was around a lot, but I was around a lot of serious theater.
Okay.
So, I've kind of done both of the things. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you ever notice any specific kind of influences when you're doing your own stand-up? Do you ever catch yourself doing a bit that reminds you of Patton?
Yeah, sure. I mean, dude, I've done bits where halfway, I'll just say, I'll rip something on stage, and I'll be like, oh, wait, that was somebody else's bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just happens all the time.
Sure.
As long as you don't try to monetize it, you're not a complete piece of shit.
Right.
But there's some people that their voices are so addictive. Like Bill Burr is one of those guys.
Yeah.
He's so great. But if I listen to his podcast almost every Monday, and a lot of the times it'll be really tough because you'll listen to his podcast, and then all of a sudden you'll start, talking like Bill Burr.
Right.
So it'll be hard. I mean, I think him and Louis, that's another one. Like sometimes Louis, I don't even know if it's as much as voice, but like hand mannerism. I know
Sure.
that a lot of people take his hands, how he uses his hands and stuff. It's
right.
Like kinds of stuff like that. And there's two theories on it. It's, some people are like, well, you've got to use somebody, like sometimes using somebody else's voice is a way to get used to your own, until you're more comfortable. How like, Eddie Murphy used to do impressions when he started out. And,
sure, yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay would do like just impressions of different people,
Mm-hmm.
and then you eventually settle into it, or you're just a hack.
Right.
And I think at some point you've got to break away.
Definitely. It's probably not a distinct moment for you, but was there ever a period on stage that you can demarcate easily where you're like, oh shit, I've found it? Or do you find it ahead of time, you're like, I'm going to try this out?
I don't think I've still found it,
Sure. Well, that's
I'm
maybe
still,
a good thing.
I think it's like, I'm still going,
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I think that the big thing is that, you keep at it, but, I think that there's like three main stages where you start out and you're just trying to do well.
Sure.
That's the first stage. And then the second stage is like, all right, well, I know this is funny and I want it to do well because it's funny.
Right.
And then there's the third thing where, all right, well, I really want to talk about what I want to talk about up there,
Yeah.
But you can't really reverse that order. I don't think that you can start. You got to learn how to tell a dick joke before you can, talk about, the collapse of the U.S. banking system.
Yes. No, that's absolutely
before
true.
You can run.
Yeah. I noticed listening to Patton's album that there's kind of a decided lack of, and it's not to its detriment, but a decided lack of very like personal shit that happened to him. It's a lot more broad. Is that something that you are interested in? Because your comedy is very personal.
Well, I didn't even think about that. You're right. There isn't a lot. Maybe that was also where he was.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the road and you're single and you're just doing stand up, you can't, you can't, you can only do so many bits about getting laid and getting
Right.
drunk.
Sure.
But no, I don't know. I don't know. I more got into it just because of the act outs in it are so, so clearly articulated. So.
And it feels very. Again, I don't know how he works specifically. I don't know if he's a notes guy, if he's a jokes guy, if he's very tight with the language. But the language is perfect on this album.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, it's really he picks the right word for the right moment.
And there's nothing wasted. Some people can't do that right, though. Some people could have all of it memorized and still not be able to deliver it with the same verve every night, you know?
Yeah, no, that's totally true.
Are you very specific, or do you find yourself wanting to expand on stories?
No, I wish I was. Sometimes I feel like I could be better at that. Right now I'm just trying to build up new stuff, just so I don't go crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I like to think that I don't settle. Like if something,
sure.
I had to at least make sure the word's funny enough. But
right.
I get it, but I wish I was like him and I just, had every single word was perfect,
No, absolutely. That's it's a dream of some comics. Although I know a lot of comics that absolutely hate it and would rather do something slightly different each night. Do you have a writing discipline at all, or what's that like for you? What's the actual writing part?
Well, I do. I do. I guess. I guess I try to write stand-up once a week. I know people write it once a day. I've always been better at sitting down and writing scripts. I've been working on shows for the past year, 2 different shows, for 2 different networks. So I've built up some material, but I still have this thing where, I kind of have to think of an idea, and then I can flesh it out on paper.
Sure,
but
sure.
I would love to just be able to do that,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I apologize. I have a cat that's just crossed my recording area and is now purring. So this is there's going to be a nice low hum through the rest of this interview. Let's see. Did you ever make any friends over comedy? Was that a thing? I mean, it seems common, but not everybody has it. Like some people have to move out of their town. Like some people have to go to college and finally they've got people they can relate to. Do you have were you a kid and you got to watch shit with people or?
Well, I don't think I didn't really make, I had like 1 or 2 friends when I was in like grammar and middle school, but I wasn't really, I didn't have a lot of friends until high school, I think Chris Rock said, like, comics are just trying to, make you, they're trying to make fun of themselves before you can.
Sure.
It's like a defense mechanism.
When you got a bit older, I mean, was it ever? I mean, did you was it only until a lot of your friends were comics that you started being able to have people you could talk to comedy about, though?
I've always feel like the 3 funniest people that I've met in my life are not comics.
Sure.
So I don't know if I never really like comedy dorked out over stuff. I don't think I ever did that. But, I definitely had people that I would, it definitely shared my sense of humor.
Sure. Do you have a favorite bit off of this album? Favorite track?
Yeah, Robert Evans bit for sure.
I think that's a lot of people's. Do you ever listen to a bit like that and you're just wondering, well, shit, what is my bit?
Well, I did this one which was like in the same vein, I guess. I did this one about James Taylor because I used to work at Fuse, and I would it was just not nearly as good as Patton's, but I would have to write jokes for musicians. So I was always nervous that somebody I really respected growing up was just going to be a nightmare of a human being.
Right.
And I wrote that, and then I listened, and I listened, and I wanted to make it as good as, Patton's Robert Evans bit.
Yeah.
It's still not. It's never been fully there. Like comics like it, but it's on the album. But it's never it doesn't translate as much,
Yeah, I mean, do you? I'm not sure what you can do because I'm not a stand-up. What a stand-up can do to just sort of like step outside of that comic mindset to be like, how, why is this not working, or what do I need to do to make this work
Well,
for
I
people?
think you can go. It worked on the album, but I think
Okay.
you just go back to it. You know, like you just eventually, you know, like it's like anything else. I think with writing, sometimes you bang your head against a wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then like when everything when you basically give it up is when something like kind of happens. You know.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. Did you? What were your other comedy influences specifically growing up? Were there any TV shows that kind of set you in motion? Was there one thing that made you realize
Well, you
that
know,
this
I
was
think
a job you could have?
Well, I don't know. I think, you know, when I was a kid, I would love Steve Martin too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you know, I always had a show. You know, like the early Drew Carey show,
Mm-hmm.
the Seinfeld. You know, there was always something that I was into, and it's because they were all. You know, it's crazy now because like, you know, I grew up on network shows, and then cable comedy really only became a thing when I was in high school. You know what I mean? I mean, there was some HBO stuff, but it was a little bit, it was a little bit farther away. You know.
Sure.
So.
What was the earliest kind of comedy you can remember making? Did you do sketches in high school? Did you videotape stuff?
I would do some sketch stuff in high school, and I guess I was trying to be like 70s SNL, like Monty Python.
Sure.
And I don't know. I wasn't that fun. I tried stand up 3 times in high school, and I don't count it because it was not exactly groundbreaking.
Uh-huh.
So.
When does the official record start then for you?
The official record starts when I moved from college. I wasn't doing any stand up in college, and I did an open mic at the Pit in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
When I was actually a PA at Conan, and and then I started. It was like that September after college, so I guess September 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like my official start date.
Shit, that's pretty impressive. Man, I'd have a million questions for you about working for Conan, but I'll leave that for another time.
Another one, yeah.
Exactly. Do you remember what it felt like that first time, like to legitimately get up? I mean, what did you have prepared, or was it completely off the top of your head?
It was pretty prepared.
Mm-hmm. Was it polished at all?
It was yeah, because I had a theater background.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more polished, I think, than some.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But you know, it was because of that too. I think you can really fail.
Sure.
If it's polished.
Sure.
Like people are like, oh, he really thought about this bullshit to just get out of his fucking mouth. You know.
Does the theater, did that help with your presence? Obviously, like on stage, you're not, you don't go over the top, but you have a pretty big presence. I mean, is that from your training, or have you always had that?
I guess, you know, it helped. I think I've always been kind of like a loudmouth, you know, dude. But I guess I don't know. I definitely think it helped. You know, I think I always had that like look at me thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I have never had like I think that definitely training as an actor did help me ground that a little more.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So that was good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So can I assume then you had a bit of improv training in theater? Or is that a poor assumption?
I would just take a couple classes at the Pit. Nothing.
Not like improv comedy.
No.
Okay.
No, I would never. I didn't go through the. I didn't go through the classes.
As far as, you know, theater training and training for like learning dramatic beats in a show, has that ever helped you as far as tweaking your own routine, like beats in your own comedy shows, or no?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, but I think that also if you keep people around you that make you honest, you know, that also helps a lot, you know.
Definitely. Have you had the opportunity to meet Patton?
I think I just said hi to him once at a show.
Mm-hmm.
That was about it.
Yeah. Is it? Would you ever, if you got to spend a little more time with him, do you think you'd be able to sit down and talk with him about this album, or would you just
I'm not gonna do that.
No.
I hardly ever want to. Like he's given a lot of my buddies work, but when I really look up, it's like whenever I'm around Louis C.K., I'm like, this is like so. It was. I don't know. I feel like whenever I read this Louis C.K. where I'm just like I don't really want to know you because I look up to you so much.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. That's that.
Yeah. That's always been hard. It's almost like not even a real relationship because I don't know.
No, that makes complete sense. That makes sense to me. Do you? So when you, if you were to recommend this out, let's say it to somebody who doesn't know this album well, doesn't know it at all, maybe doesn't know Patton's comedy, why would you recommend they listen to this first?
Well, his album. Well, I think it's like, I think he's one of these people who makes esoteric comedy really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like thoughtful. I mean, esoteric. That sounds, so antiseptic, but a thoughtful comedy fun.
Sure.
It's so you feel like such a douchebag trying to sum up somebody's work. But
no, it's hard because people will also call it nerdy, and that doesn't condense it either.
Yeah. It's bigger than that.
Definitely. Well, let's make sure we remind people your album's coming out June 10th.
Yeah.
Can we get it at astrecords.com?
June 10th on a Special Thing Records. And I think you can get it off their website and iTunes. And then if you come to one of my shows, I can sell you a hard copy for a reduced price.
Even better. Is there a vinyl copy, out of curiosity?
I don't think so, no.
Those bastards. Where can we?
Maybe next time.
Where can we find you online?
DanceSaintGermain.net.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And sorry there was a little mishap as far as getting over there.
There's always confusion. It's fine. It was a fun time, and maybe if next time you're in town, if you want to do it live, you are more than welcome.
I would love to. Thank you very much.
No, of course, thank you. And everybody, thanks for listening, and as always, have a good thing. Comedy on Vinyl is a production of Stolen Dress Entertainment. It is produced by Mike Warden and is hosted and edited by Jason Klamm. Our theme song was composed and performed by Richard Levinson. Please visit stolendress.com to listen to our other podcasts, read our blogs, read our tweets, watch our videos, and read our books. Please subscribe on iTunes, and if you like us, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review. You can find us on facebook.com/comedyonvinyl, Twitter @comedyonvinyl, and find everything else at comedyonvinyl.com.